like to welcome you to the Restoration Pathway. We are so glad that you're here. You are likely here because you believe in the ideals of the American Republic, you cherish your God-given rights, and you recognize that true liberty comes from alignment with divine principles of justice, self-governance, and accountability. We honor those who love this land not for nationalism alone, but for its original spiritual covenant. If your heart burns for freedom rooted in truth, you are in the right place. And why this matters now? Well, you have very likely seen the flaws in the current system, whether it's from overreach and coercion to the erosion of your natural rights. You may have asked yourself, what can I lawfully do to live free, protect my family, and walk in integrity? We want you to know there is a pathway. It is lawful, time-tested, and divinely aligned, yet it remains hidden to most. We are here to disclose this option, grounded in the framework of the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the 508 Covenant of Peaceful, Non-Corporate Assembly. So who is this message for? It is for those who are honest stewards of their calling, those that seek to restore, not destroy, respect lawful order and moral boundaries, value peaceful remedy over reactionary revolt, and if this resonates for you, then you're going to have the opportunity to schedule a free consultation at the end of this presentation. So if you are looking for a doorway to express your God-given freedoms, then let us introduce you to the 508 C1A ministry. It is a non-reporting, non-filing, religiously protected trust that is a legal structure, and there is no IRS approval needed. What many do not realize about a 508c1a ministry is that we assume that ministry is a vocation for the pulpit preachers, the robed clergy, or those who are formally ordained. Yet ministry is not merely a position, it is a posture. It's one of service, purpose, and responsibility that is not reserved only for those with pulpits, nor is it outdated or obsolete. Rather, it is a powerful tool that operates in full alignment with your calling without compromising spiritual integrity, personal privacy, or your inherent rights. And the 508c1a is protected under the First Amendment, because unlike most countries that require religious groups to register under state-sanctioned structures or ministries of religion, the United States Constitution offers a categorical shield. The First Amendment, guaranteeing freedom of religion, speech, and assembly without interference from the state. Internal Revenue Code 508c1a states which automatically recognizes churches, associations of churches, and certain integrated auxiliaries without requiring the 501c3 registration or federal permission. The 508c1a ministries are mandatorily accepted. This is not just a tax code, it is a sovereign shield. I'm showing you this page so that you can see that this is in the law. And in fact, it's listed in the section with special rules with respect to 501c3 organizations under Title 26, U.S. Code subsection 508c1a. And you can see that going down right in the red. It's right here in this document. If you want any more information on this, we're happy to share that with you. So let's talk about that exemption versus an exception. The 508c1a is a constitutional exception, not a mere IRS exemption. It does not require IRS permission to exist. It is grounded in natural law, once again protected by the First Amendment, and it operates as a church or ministry in its own jurisdiction. Most leaders are not told this truth. Many groups have used this 508 model regularly since the inception of the IRS, yet pastors, charities, and organizations perish under the 501 restrictions. The time for ignorance is over. So what is the 508c1a ministry? Well, under the law of the United States, the 508 faith-based ministry is a non-state sovereign ecclesiastical structure recognized for its religious and charitable nature. Once again, this is not a 501c3 corporation. The 508 faith-based ministry exists by constitutional provision, not governmental permission, not required to apply for tax-exempt status. It is already mandatorily accepted. It can receive donations, hold property, and conduct lawful activity as an extension of the ministry's goals. And under this 508, you are lawfully protected in your freedom of speech, religious expression, and belief. It's able to receive tax-deductible donations, not required to submit the annual IRS 990 filings. It is not subjected to the IRS oversight in the same way that a 501c3 organization would be. It is quite literally a scroll of liberty. Ask yourself, what would you create if you knew you had full spiritual and legal freedom to do so? And here you can see it is under Title 26, subsection 6033. In this paragraph 3A1, showing there is no filing requirement. So you're seeing this is actually listed in the law. And here is that IRS Form 990, which is required by the 501c3. And this would be a form for the IRS that tax-exempt nonprofit organizations in the United States must file every year to provide information about their activities, finances, and governance. It helps ensure compliance with tax laws and allows the public to access details about the organization. Remember, this is required for the 501c3, not required for the 508. So let's look at these differences between the 501 and the 508. You can see where IRS approval is required. For a 501, it's a yes. For the 508, no. Annual filing, that Form 990, yes for the 501, no for the 508. Religious liberty, limited in the 501, protected under the 508. Free speech in the pulpit, restricted in the 501, protected in the 508. Political speech, same thing, restricted, but protected in the 508. Eligibility for tax-deductible donations is yes for both. State incorporation required, yes for the 501, no for the 508. And privacy of donor lists can be requested in the 501, fully private in the 508. Default status, an application is needed for a 501c3. It is automatic for churches in a 508c1a. So let's talk about who is ideal for this. This is a list, but yet there can be others as well. So let's just give you some ideas, and I'm going to actually take you into more detail in the next few slides as well. But this can be ideal for coach, therapists, healers, mentors, educators, homeschool cooperatives, veterans or patriots ready to build a legacy project that uplifts others, artists, musicians, independent ministers, if those creating legacy models for generations to come, philanthropists or humanitarians who are tired of the bureaucratic 501c3 traps. It can also be professionals who are in real estate, medical trades, consulting, seeing their work as a vocation of service, and much more. So breaking this down, someone in the healing and health profession can be natural wellness practitioners, health counselors, Christian therapists, nutritionists, home birth and midwifery services, and so much more. Also, education and mentorship. So private teachers, homeschool co-op founders, wisdom school, discipleship curriculum leaders, leadership, life purpose coaches, empowerment guides for our youth, and so on. Creatives, media, and artists could be another category as well. Sacred musicians, authors and storytellers, videographers, YouTubers, prophetic artists, and so on can also be professions suited for this, as well as those who want land-based and earth-keeping as a mission for themselves and others they know, where they're permaculture designers, they're regenerative farmers, you know, the beautiful land stewards wanting retreat spaces, ministries focused on creation care and animal welfare, homesteading, community creation, those needing scalable protection for volunteers and resources. Also, marketplace apostles and builders, so ministry-backed real estate initiatives like refuge centers, safe houses, farms, humanitarian coordinators managing food, shelter, and water access. Could also be independent churches, prophetics, hidden monastic or cloistered intercessors. So pastors, deacons, parishioners who want more autonomy in their worship and pulpit message without the control of the 501c3. Those that carry a deep contemplative flame and often unseen power. Those who want financial simplicity and also the spiritual sovereignty, often overlooked by standard ministry structures. We can help them find humble but legal covering in purity. Also, prophetic innovators in tech missions. So engineers and tech developers building solutions to serve the body, builders of secure communications and safe tech environments, and researchers in quantum, resonance, or light technologies that are aligned with Christ's governance. So let's talk about structuring the ministries and the legacies that go with that. Well, first, we're going to talk about avoiding common pitfalls. Assuming you need a 501c3 is one of the common pitfalls. Trusting secular CPAs with sacred structure, involving the IRS or state unnecessarily, failing to prepare succession plans, or overcomplicating with offshore tools. So let's look at what can happen when you don't have the proper structure. Many passionate leaders are operating as informal ministries, personal brands, or unregistered products, but upon their death or disability, that work cannot legally continue. A properly structured 508c1a is recognized, it's protected, and it is transferable without the entanglements of secular non-profit control. And LLCs, S-Corps, and standard 501c3 setups all fall under the regulatory hand of the state, often subjecting the leader to IRS censorship, board overthrows, or loss of mission fidelity through those legal scope creep. So many start these ministries without that correct legal understanding, again, resulting in loss of spiritual protections through improper structuring, that exposure to IRS violations or improper tax handling. Also, inability to form lawful trust for succession and asset transfer, and this can result in missed opportunities for legacy, or funding, or outreach, and then commingling with state statutes that actually will strip sovereignty from the missions. Another common pitfall is the offshore corporations. These do not protect you from the IRS. In fact, they are often targeted more aggressively due to misuse by criminals and elites. You can lose access to basic banking or raise those red flags. These are also can be so expensive, tens of thousands to set up, and then thousands to maintain annually, expensive legal support, and often unnecessary for ministry work. There are those high fees, hidden renewals, the increased risk of audit, difficulty with banking access or terminated accounts, compromised mission visibility, and that is giving the wrong message to your supporters. It looks like secrecy. Other dangers of using a template or doing this with no guidance. So many people attempt to build these ministries or launch a mission project without understanding the nuances of spiritual trust law, banking compliance, or ecclesiastical structure. The results can actually be devastating. They can inadvertently trigger IRS audits or penalties. They can lose their tax-exempt status. There can be improper filings now exposing spiritual missions to civil liability, and the burnout from trying to DIY what requires sacred covering and legal accuracy. Also, tying assets to personal name or finances. They can be building ministries on personal checking and personal property titles or sole names. The mission then becomes probate fodder. This is not a business formation. This is the governing framework of a heavenly assignment. This is also why we say conditions actually apply. You must be willing to honor the sacred trust. You must know what is off limits, and we're going to show you a disclaimer in the next few slides. But ATF industries, commercial transport, unlawful acts, those are all off limits. You need to be clean in your record and sincere in your calling. So let's talk about how we are different. We offer structuring through trust-based ministries, asset shielding to preserve the continuity, legacy strategies to outlive the founder. We do it for you and walk with you, supporting you through all of this. You are never alone at the bank. You are never confused by forms. You are never left wondering if you did it right. We exist to lawfully help you by providing tools that respect your spiritual sovereignty and your calling. So we help you with structuring your ministry as a mission, or a mission as the 508c1a ecclesiastical trust with banking compliance, succession and legacy planning, and protection from that unnecessary filing. So let's talk about some frequently asked questions. 1, is this legal? We showed you where the laws are, but let's go back through this. It is absolutely legal. The 508c1a status is encoded in U.S. law, and ministries formed under this provision do not require IRS application to be tax exempt. We have a team of seasoned coaches ensuring all the documentation aligns with constitutional, trust, and banking law. That is so important. Now, can you leave a legacy through this model? Yes, you can. These structures outlive the founders and carry forward spiritual and earthly inheritance through mentorship, stewardship, and embedded succession planning. This is about living beyond the grave in the hearts and missions of those to come. And who can donate to this church ministry? Anyone. Even the directors may donate. The law states anyone may donate up to 50% of their taxable income to a recognized church or ministry of their choice. The church ministry may provide a receipt stating that it is a religious entity and provide its EIN number. Suppose you have no revenue yet. Well, you're not alone. Many begin with a calling and a mustard seed. Our goal is to help you plant that seed in sacred soil. We can assist you with phased plans, grant support structuring, and collaborative partnerships through your scroll or mission. And can the directors place their own property, such as a car, into the church or ministry estate? Yes. As long as the property is used for the benefit of the church ministry, then it may be placed into the estate of that church ministry. This is why we form 508c1a ministries now. It is not just for tax status, but also for inheritance activation. So I want you to think which of these resonate for you. What is your life's message? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? Do you feel called to mentor others through your work? Have you been afraid to step into ministry because you didn't fit the mold? Are you willing to let your profession become your mission? If any of those resonate for you, I'd like you to meet Ambassador Nectaria. She is an eternal nun. She has served faithfully in both the Roman Catholic and Eastern Orthodox traditions. She is the foundress of the 508c1a ministry, which is the diplomatic mission for the Cygnus. She is also a diplomatic ambassador for Christ, recognized by the U.S. Department of State. She has 25 years experience in constitutional counseling and legal and lawful advocacy, and 20 years experience opening these ministry trusts done with 100% success. These are all in compliance with the law. And she and her team will be supporting you to structure your ministries and walk you through this step by step. The team, they are not attorneys, nor are they tax experts, but they're highly experienced in this field. And I formed my own 508c1a. I went through this process. I can tell you the process is wonderful. It is legal, it is lawful, and is non-confrontational, and it is everything that it should be to help support you toward your freedom. And the diplomatic mission for the Cygnus operates as an unincorporated church and 508c1a ministry. It is globally recognized and spiritually commissioned. And due to the sacred nature of the 508c1a trust framework, this is not suitable for individuals or groups who are engaged in activities regulated as vice or high liability trades, meaning alcohol, tobacco, firearms, commercial transport, gambling, or adult content. It's also not suitable for anyone with unresolved controversies with the IRS or active tax litigation. Also, not suitable for those who seek to misuse spiritual exemption as a means to evade lawful conduct. Also, anyone unwilling to honor the spiritual, fiduciary, and stewardship codes that this calling requires. This is our official disclaimer and notice. As you can see and look through, you're welcome to take a photo of this so that you've got all of this here. But again, all rights are continually and explicitly reserved, and we do not offer legal, tax, medical, or financial advice. The confidant agrees to seek out those modalities when deemed necessary. Also understand your participation will require execution of a non-disclosure agreement and covenantal trust agreement and accords. This is such a wonderful process, and the team knows exactly what they're doing and how to support you in every way through this process. So if this speaks to you, your next step is to book your free consultation to learn more about the 508c1a ministry, as well as our passport program and the Real ID Act avoidance remedy. You can begin building your legacy and your path to freedom. So the journey begins with a single step. It's a yes in the heart. You are not alone, and you are never meant to walk this road without the light. If something within you is stirring, if it's a call to freedom, to legacy, to sacred purpose, we invite you to explore further. Whether you're ready to begin or simply curious, We welcome your questions, your prayers, and your courage. Our team will offer you a free 30-minute consultation, and it's all about walking this together one light at a time. You can see here, you can go ahead and scan the QR code. Also, the website is listed below. You can see it's with your Ambassador Nectaria. I can assure you the process is wonderful. It is worth questioning and looking into this. We invite every one of you to schedule your free 30-minute consultation and take your steps forward. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to being in touch with you in the future and helping you with your steps toward your mission and your calling.